In this lecture, we will talk about the VS Code built-in terminal and other terminal-related tasks. And yes, you can start or open the terminal if you drag from the bottom like this, or if you go to the menu and you select a new terminal, then you will have a new terminal. When you will open a terminal with VS Code will choose your default terminal on your operating system. For me is Bash. Maybe it's possibly for you to be something else. If you have multiple terminals installed in your computer, then you can choose for example another default terminal to be created by VS Code when you work with multiple terminals. Well, this is the way it looks. It's just a simple terminal and it will work like the exact terminal on your computer. For example, I can maybe list my files right here. I can change the directories like here. I can change back to this CD intro. Very important, when you have a folder opened and you will open a new terminal, VS Code will open the terminal with the root inside your specific folder. And with VS Code you can have multiple terminals. I can press the plus sign and I can have a multiple terminal. The cool thing about this is that I can assign different colors or different names to my terminals. Maybe I have a terminal which runs my test process, so I can name this test, and I can maybe change this to build, which will build my main process. Let's say like this. I can even change the color. I can assign it a new color like this, and this way it will be easy for me to switch between multiple terminals. Of course, I can rearrange the views and to do things this way, but this is something of a preference and I let you explore this. Let's also talk a few moments about this view right here, which doesn't contain only the terminal but also some other views. This is usually called the panel. Well, here you will see problems. If you may have problems inside your code, here you will see a list of them. And if you've ever worked with Java or with Eclipse or other IDEs, you might know that they will show you all the problems inside your whole project. Well, VS Code will usually only shows the problems from the installed or from the opened files. If you will close a file, maybe here I will have a compilation problem or a syntax problem, it will show me this as a problem. But if I close this file, the problem won't appear anymore. This is a limitation of VS Code compared to other IDEs. Also, we can have an entry right here called output. Usually you won't need to know too much about this entry. In this output, you can read logs from inside VS Code and from all the processes that are currently happening inside VS Code. Maybe sometimes your extensions will put out logs. For example, I have this TypeScript server. Since I worked with TypeScript before, now I see some logs from TypeScript. I can see maybe other main logs. Usually if you don't know exactly what you're searching for, you won't understand too much from this. But from experience I saw that maybe if there's a problem with some functionality from VS Code, here you can find the error log, and to understand better what's the problem. Also, this view sometimes will have a GitHub Copilot view. We will talk about this later. And also, let's see how with this panel position, how we can align it. Maybe you want to have this justify view right here, or maybe you don't. You can, again, play around with this because this is highly customizable. As a last note for this lecture, since we are talking about terminals, let's see how we can start VS Code from inside a terminal. So I will close this. I will close all my files and I will open a terminal anywhere inside my computer. And you can also open VS Code from inside a terminal. First of all, you need to have the code command installed, and usually this should install by itself when you install VS Code. So I can check my VS Code version with this command. This is my VS Code version, and now I can simply open VS Code with the command code, and if I now will provide a argument, specifically if I will add the argument intro, then VS Code will open inside this intro folder. Like this. Let me close it again and show you something else. If I will open, for example, code and then dot, then VS Code will open in this particular folder right here. Usually what I do, we will also talk later about source control. Usually I clone a repository and then I simply start VS Code with the code command and the name of the folder. We will see how to do this also in the source control section.